private sector will be maintained.
Someone's got to develop a product that you and I as a consumer are going to want to buy.
The country needs a comprehensive energy plan. We don't know how long this will last.
Welcome to For the Record, everyone. I'm Jed Donahue. Here today we're profiling SCORE. I had not heard much about SCORE until we researched for the program today. It is a nonprofit national organization specializing in small business counseling. And SCORE CPA serves Center, Clearfield, Huntington, and Mifflin counties. And I might add, it does have chapters throughout the state of Pennsylvania. We have two of the counselors for SCORE, SARA Parks and also Ned Book joining us. Delighted to have you both here. We'll learn as we go here, right?
Thank you, Jed.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, the importance of small business, you know, job creation and all of that sort of thing. But first, kind of explain how you interact. Ned, we'll go with you first to try and get small business started, things like that.
Okay. We try the best way we can to interest people to go online and request counseling. Once they do that, then a counselor is assigned to them and they create a mutually convenient time to meet. And the person comes in and shares with them the idea they have for their business. And then we start the counseling process by suggesting and asking questions and giving them homework, and we continue to work with them until they decide one of two things. Either they're going to go forward with their business or the business isn't really for them. The important thing is that small business today is creating something like 90% of the jobs in this country. So creating small business is very, very important for the economy because we need jobs, we need the tax revenue.
And Sarah, you're a past chairman of SCORE, and kind of explain, you can more or less whether the product is viable or things like that. You can help determine that pretty much right at Jump Street here?
Well, one of the things that we try to do is to have the potential client visit with us about what their vision is. What is their dream, you know, when they want to get into business? And then we have a series of questions and resources that we share, you know, with potential clients to help them determine whether or not that's a viable product or not.
Yeah, we had mentioned that volunteerism is pretty much the central core of SCORE. And many of the SCORE volunteers are business owners or have worked, you know, in your instance with the Hershey Entertainment and Resort Company, you worked with Penn State. And everybody kind of has that eclectic experience, and more or less that what goes into this book, right?
Exactly, exactly. We have between 20 and 25 counselors. Some of our snowbirds are gone right now, so we're a little shorthanded. But when we're all here, we're fairly well equipped, and we've got people from any business you can think of. We have a vice president marketing from Alcoa. We have a chemical engineer who worked for Texaco. We have former insurance executives. We have a couple of restaurant people. So we have quite a potpourri of talent available. And one of the other things is if a case is assigned to me, for example, and I have not enough knowledge about that field to help them intelligently, I will ask permission of the client to bring another counselor in. So then we co-counsel and use the expertise of two of us.
I was just going to add that comment, Ned, because I think that's one of the most valuable aspects of SCORE CPA, our ability to bring in expertise from so many different skill levels and disciplines. So, and we almost always team consult.
Right. Well, that's important. I mean, you know, getting bankers or anything, and we're going to get into the financial end of this sort of thing later. All right, we've had a lot of politicians through this set, and I was telling you, you know, before we sat down, Pennsylvania does not have a great reputation nationally as being friendly to small business. Ned, we'll start with you. How can this be fixed? How can the business community or organizations like SCORE get the point across? You know, let's help risk takers. Let's put this thing on a faster track than it is.
Well, you're talking about regulation upon regulation upon regulation.
You mean the red tape? There's no red tape?
Oh,
I'm teasing.
just a little red tape.
Right.
But you've got taxing bodies, you've got all sorts of regulations, and it starts at the local level, and then it goes to the county level, and then it goes to the state level, then it goes to the feds, and then in the feds, every department in the federal government has their finger into something. So a poor soul trying to go into business can spend almost a year just trying to figure out all the answers to all the questions about whether they are permitted. It's permitted use of what they want to do. So a coordinated effort by our governing bodies would be very, very helpful. And the same thing is true of taxation. The county commissioners might bust their tail to keep the taxes low, but then the state comes along and adds taxes on that just wiped out what they saved for you. So it's that kind of thing that's very difficult for small business.
Yeah, and Sarah, sometimes even a sign out in front of your business, even with local folks, can be a deal breaker in a lot of instances, something that small.
Absolutely. Not only a sign, but it's everything. It's the health department when somebody wants to open up a new restaurant or some kind of a food business. It's the state. It's the Bureau of Labor and Industry. I mean, we could go on and on and on. And most of our clients are very small businesses who don't have the experience and the background in order to access this legal system. And that's one of the strengths that we bring to the table, our ability to cut through some of that red tape for our clients.
Well, even knowledge of that red tape, but sometimes, you know, if you're starting a small business, you're taking risk, all right, there's like anxiety number one.
Right.
Well, you don't need, maybe is the anxiety, it's like, oh my God, am I going to be overregulated? Where's, you know, which government am I dealing with? You're almost deflecting things.
We had a client,
go ahead and follow
we had a client a number of years ago who was a home-based business. And the lady was very, very successful, and so she hired a couple of more people to work out of the home. I think it lasted until the neighbors reported there were too many cars parked on the street, and this was then a violation of the zoning for that particular business. Well, that's understandable. Rules are rules, they're applicable to everyone. But the poor person going into business then had to move to another location, and immediately the business ended, closed.
You have a follow-up on that?
No, I think I'm fine now. I was going to use an example very similar to what Ned just shared with you. We've had small businesses go out of business because of regulations, and especially in the zoning area, believe it or not, in the central Pennsylvania area. People assume because they're signing a lease that they've got an appropriate zoning clearance, and they don't.
All right, we'll find out more about SCORE, and we'll get into this handbook. It's a fabulous document. We'll have that more on For the Record after this.